All right.
I'm Chess from Groundcover. I'm here with John from FusionAuth. Thank you for having the time.
Yeah, of course.
First, let's hear a little bit about FusionAuth, what you do.
Sure. So I'm John Jeffers. I'm a staff SRE at FusionAuth. FusionAuth is an authentication company. We do authentication. The space that we're in is called CIAM, Customer Identity Access Management. I hope I'm getting that right. So we do authentication for basically companies that don't want to try to write their own authentication provider, which is very, very difficult. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And do you have we just talked about you have some kind of similar idea to self-hosting, bring your own cloud?
Yes. So one of the big strengths of FusionAuth is that we have a SaaS platform, we're happy to host it for you. But you can also run FusionAuth anywhere. You can run it on your own cloud. You can run it on a laptop if you want. It will literally run just about anywhere. It has minimal dependencies. You just need a Postgres database and OpenSearch, Elasticsearch, and you're good to go. So yeah, it's a really flexible platform. Super easy to try out. You can go to the website FusionAuth.io to download the app. Pop in an email to get a free license, and you're good to go. So you can try it out on your own machine before you commit to anything, which is really appealing to a lot of people. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you heard about Groundcover. What were you after? What you found appealing?
Yep. So of course, like almost everybody else who uses Kubernetes, I've got a lot of experience with Grafana and Prometheus. So familiar with that. We were using that at FusionAuth prior to Groundcover. Also have used Datadog in the past. And we were looking for something that was a little bit more full-featured than the traditional kind of Grafana and Prometheus, and not nearly as expensive as Datadog. Came across Groundcover in just a Google search, just looking for basically like alternatives in this space, and saw the BYOC model come up, and I'll let you talk more about what BYOC is. I was very intrigued by that. And so that's what kind of led me down the path towards Groundcover, and been running it for I think about a year now.
Yeah, that's nice. Were anything that you worried about with the Bring Your Own C? Like obviously we deployed everything in your cloud. That's privacy and security. I'm sure it's important for you. Sure. But anything you were worried about with the BYOC model?
No, not really. I think it's almost all win. It's funny, I haven't actually asked, do I actually have any access to any of that stuff? I don't think I do. Like it's in so for people don't know what we're talking about, BYOC, bring your own cloud, all of the data that Groundcover collects for us, instead of being shipped to some SaaS platform in someone else's cloud, with bring your own cloud, Groundcover basically runs everything for us in a completely isolated AWS account. Set up a Kubernetes cluster. I'm assuming there's RDS in there somewhere too, right?
RDS, and object storage.
Yeah, and so all of the data that the agents collect gets shipped to our own AWS account, which means I don't have to worry about overinflated pricing for storing all of that data, which is great. Also, for people who are worried about data residency requirements, you can decide where it goes. It's in your own AWS account. I'm assuming you have support for things other than AWS as well, right?
Yeah, we support cloud
GCP and
GCP,
Azure. Yeah. So no concerns about BYOC. It seems, like I said, it's almost all upside. So yeah.
Technically, you can have access because you are the organization admin for AWS.
Yeah,
you can have.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are very proud of customers don't understand how it works, because it means we succeeded in our job. Making it feel like SaaS in a way. Mm-hmm. Even most engineers in your organization and the customers that we talk to don't even know it's BYOC because they haven't implemented that. So only the person that is in charge of implementing it knows actually how it works.
I mean, our engineers in our company know that it's BYOC, but the only reason they know that is because I have talked about it, talked about why it's advantageous. Yeah. It's come up in conversations before where, frequently engineers have to think about, well, I want to make sure I don't collect too much data so that it doesn't blow up our costs, and I can say to them, don't worry about it. Collect whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, because the costs are just whatever AWS charges to store that data in object storage or RDS or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and especially with the eBPF sensor, you have a lot more data.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely worth talking about. Like the EBF sensor is pretty damn cool. Yeah, just how, I mean, it's not zero touch. Obviously, you have to spend some time configuring the Helm chart to distribute the agent across the Kubernetes clusters or whatever else you want to monitor, but the eBPF sensor is pretty incredible, like what it just picks up automatically without having to configure anything. It's really nice. Yeah.
Did you? Are you guys using full payloads? Are you obfuscating it, or only sensitive information in it?
We are anonymizing some of our trace data. So that, you know, just because, you know, we are a SaaS company as well, and we want to make sure that we're protective of our customers' data. So our customers, you know, maybe somebody's using a query string that has a password in it. Not the best idea, but we don't stop our customers from doing something like that, right? So our trace data, we are intentionally looking for that sort of stuff and anonymizing it. It's a hard word to say. So yeah, but I think that answers your question. Yeah.
I wonder what other alternatives did you check, and you know, how did you end up making that decision?
Well, like I said, prior to groundcover, we were using Grafana. We were using Grafana Cloud, not the open source, but the actual paid product. And you know, I don't want to beat up on anybody, but it just wasn't working well for us. So we were looking for alternatives for that reason. And I mentioned I've used Datadog in the past as well, and I like Datadog. It's great, but it's very, very expensive. You know, prohibitively so. I think unless you are a really, really large organization with very deep pockets. So, you know, for us, groundcover was the perfect middle ground of finding something that was affordable but also full-featured enough to do what we needed to do. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the migration process? Like, how long does it took? Any friction around that? What were the challenges?
Probably the biggest challenge was just rewriting our existing dashboards to use the new, you know, it wasn't like not like one-to-one on all the metrics labels, right? So had to go through and, you know, do some find and replace on some of our dashboards. But that's another thing worth actually bringing up is if you are a Grafana shop, you can migrate your existing dashboards, because while groundcover has its own dashboards, you also have support for Grafana dashboards that are just built in, which is great. So I didn't have to right away think about how am I going to translate these Grafana dashboards into groundcover's dashboard format. I could just lift and shift right into this new environment with some minimal changes and have all my dashboards back.
Yeah. And since then we even added like the migration wizard, which basically convert all your assets for you, or like from your previous vendor to groundcover.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And that's with the new agent mode, which basically it's our AI experience that we just rolled out.
Yes.
Basically allow you to iterate on dashboards and you know, ask to modify or make sure everything is properly set.
Yeah.
So that makes the transition even easier.
I just found out about agent mode about 15 minutes ago, folks. I'm very excited about it. So,
we all are very excited about it. It's getting it's starting to be very, very powerful, and we definitely believe in that direction.
Yeah, cool.
So what's your favorite feature in groundcover besides like the model and, you know?
Yeah. So as the person who runs the platform at FusionAuth, my favorite feature of groundcover is how little I have to think about it. It just does its job without me having to think about it. I love that. I know that sounds almost like kind of a backhanded compliment. Like the product is great, absolutely, but my favorite thing about it is how little I have to do with it. You know, how little I have to touch it. You know, when it's every once in a while, I'll go and see, oh, there's a new Helm chart. Maybe I should roll that out to update the agent. I go in, I do that, and it's just, I'm done. There's never anything that breaks. You know, cross my fingers, not yet. But it's been a really pleasant experience of getting it set up and using it. And, you know, there are hiccups here and there. You know, usually it's around new features. Like I don't know, like the CloudWatch integration for AWS. Like I had some minor issues around that with how the metrics ingest from CloudWatch, how things get tagged.
Yeah.
But it's relatively minor things like that. Nothing that keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The team adopted the ship fast build and break a little bit.
Yeah.
Any feature request you want to take this opportunity to ask the product team?
Yeah. And I think I've said this to them before. The synthetics monitoring that was added a few months ago will be a lot more useful when I can have geographically distributed agents that are sort of all phone home back to the same console.
Yeah.
Because the synthetics monitoring we're using now, of course, is geographically distributed. As you know, FusionAuth as a company is all over the world, so we want to make sure that our customers' endpoints are being checked from all over the world as well. So that's a big one I'm waiting for.
Yeah, cool. That's actually on a very near-term roadmap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also gonna invest a lot in the complexity you can write those synthetics. So multi-stage steps, multi-stage synthetic tests and browser tests, like full playwright.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and I think that's when that happens, that is going to be really huge for us because this is another one of those use cases where there are lots of services that do it, but if you want to do frequent checks on many sites, like as a SaaS company, we have 1,000 some checks that we're running every minute, and you try to do something at that scale with your traditional kind of monitoring provider, it's going to be very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And if we can migrate that from our current provider to groundcover, that's going to be a huge win for us.
Amazing. So I'm going to talk to Michel, who's responsible for this feature, and
all right,
and let him know that he needs to talk to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, it was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, you too.
And a pleasure to have you as a customer.
Yeah. Yep.
And
a very happy customer. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thanks.